All right, got a little problem here in the customer car. Had a tire that was low. As evident, other tires are about 32 psi and this one's about 12, so we know we got an issue. Looks like we may have found the problem here, but to verify, there you go. That's definitely a leak. Now, if you look at what that is, it looks like some sort of a razor blade. So this is going to depend on where you work and what their policies are. But for a lot of places, any puncture, it's going to be replace the tire. For some places, we're going to want to repair the tire. However, this one, by the book, I'm going to reference the book, right, which was the Tire Inspection Agency, which is kind of an authority on tire repair. This is non-repairable. It's non-repairable because this is a long cut. It's repairable if it's a nail or a screw, something round below 1/4 inch in diameter. So this one's a no-go. However, I want to demonstrate how to do a tire repair and show you just how high quality a tire repair is. So if this is a customer's, nope, we're done. We're not going to deal with this. If this is, take this as a demo on just how good a tire repair will be. This is a personal friend, so I've already told him, hey, that's non-repairable, but if you want to do an experiment, I'll show you how high quality our tire repair is, and it'll hold up, and he's going to run it the life of the tire and prove that this inside tire patch plug is the best you could possibly do. All right, so next step, I got to get this tire dismounted because we're going to do the repair from the inside. But first, I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to explain to you why. Here we go. Right at this valve stem. I'm just going to do a small mark, something indiscreet. Right, so if you look, that'll be right dead center. I'm holding it kind of off to the side. And the reason why is because this tire was balanced. So if I dismount this tire and I dismount the tire from the wheel and I get the tire in the same spot, it should be balanced. But I'm going to recheck the balance anyway. I'm just showing that's a little trick. So when I spin it on the balancer, it shouldn't call for weight. And if it does, it wasn't balanced right the first time. All right, so here we go. One of our first steps is we got to pull this valve core out, and I'm just checking what tools we got here. That one won't do it. I did see a tool for this right over here, I think. Right here. All right. Let that air out of there. Sounds kind of nasty. My bet this is probably going to have fix-a-flat in it, more than likely. All right, next step, break the bead. Spin it a little. Next step, get up on the table, expand it. Ooh. There we go. Feels good. All right, lock that in. I got different tire machine videos, but give you the general idea here. I want a tire iron right here. This is not particularly low profile, so it'll be pretty easy. But sometimes I'll lube the bead up a little bit too, which I can also do with this. Right, so here we go. I'm gonna hook it under here, pry it up over. I wanna point something out. Right here, it's kind of hard to pull. So that gives me an indication I probably don't have this down in the drop section all the way. So I'm gonna cheat with this part. All right, when I get it all the way down in the drop section, look how much easier this will be. All right, it's a lot easier. Spin it. Get this up out of the way. Come on, baby, let go. All right. Now you'll notice I started debeading right here at the TPMS sensor, which feels like it could be a valve stem, right? But I'm trying to pull the bead so it doesn't hit this TPMS sensor. So we're going to start debeading right here at the duck head. So right here, I'll do the same thing again. There we go. All right, let me get a quick shot of this. Now, what I have here, if you'll notice, see that TPMS sensor right up there? What I'm doing is I'm pulling the bead off where it's going to be away from the sensor like this. So the way I do this, the bead never presses against the sensor. If I had it on this other side over here, as I'm trying to get this off, the bead is going to come and contact the sensor pretty hard. And it may not break it every time, but it'll break it sometimes. And you'll be like, oh, every 4 or 5 tires I break a TPMS sensor. It's because you're doing it wrong. All right. So that's how you get it off. All right, here you go. Let me show you what we got here. As you'll recall, we saw that blade. Looks like they had put some sort of little fix-a-flat, but not a lot. All right, so I'm just gonna keep moving this. So I find it. Can't see it that well from the inside, but it's right there. So let me get a good look at it. Looks like that one must have barely come through. So, which is okay, but what I need to do is I need to find it and make a mark. So I'm going to do that. All right, so I'll switch over to tire crayon. And then if I look just right, which is hard to catch, you'll just barely notice we're pulled through here. All right, so I can get that marked up. I don't really care that much about the mark because we're going to be buzzing all that off, right? But that's what we got. That's our problem. We could do this several different ways, but the way I normally do it, I'm gonna grab hold of that blade and pull it out here, which it may or may not be happy about. Ooh, yeah, that one's gonna be tough. Yeah, it started moving. I think it's a razor blade. Nope, it's just that's a corner of a razor blade. So that's our bad boy right there. Now, like I said, this is a no repair because the cut it left is not round. But again, as a demonstration, I'm going to show you just how good the tire patch plug assemblies can work if you do it correctly. And this one will hold. I just wouldn't offer it for a customer. All right, so you guys can see we made that mark. The next tool is just going to be a cordless drill with a specific tire reaming tool on there. And this is sized to the patch plug combination assembly. So if you look at this, this is what we're going to use. It's actually correct size for that plug part of this patch plug. It's not just any random thing. All right. Now you can do it from the outside, but because this was a weird shape, I want to try to nail this right in the center the best I can. So you can see where it's just barely peeled open. And you don't want to do it real high speed because they'll actually melt the edges of the rubber and it won't adhere as well. So I'm going kind of slow. To be honest, a drill probably can't spin fast enough anyway. All right, now what I did was in the tire there's cords. We just cut back the cords. Oops. cut back the cords so that they can't destroy our patch plug over time. All right, so just, that one was pretty tight, so I'm gonna run it just a bit more. We should be good. That one tends to want to close up. All right, next step. This has a lining on it that's silicone, and we need to get the silicone liner off of this. So I'm just going to splash a bit of this. It's like a buffing solution. You can pull it back over. I'm going to scrape this area by hand. Give me that liquid back over here. And I know actually a lot of people who skip this, and the reason why we do it is, if you can see, there's a lot of goop on here. That is the silicone liner. Technically, this next step could have got all that off. We're gonna run this buffing wheel over there, and if you don't scrape the liner, you tend to clog the buffing wheel up just a little sooner, a little prematurely, right? So it's nicer if we do it like this, get silicone off of it. Now, I'm gonna approximate the size of the patch and go just a bit over, right? So I'm gonna try to do this. Yeah, you can see pretty well. I'm gonna try to do it without blocking your view. Oh, gotta have the air on. It does help to have the air on. Now I just did a little regulator adjustment right there. So if you're running wide open, you gotta modulate the throttle. But with this, that's wide open because I just turned the pressure down over there. It's a good little feature. Now if you look, it's still kind of rough. That's not good. Needs more. We're trying to make it velvety, velvet. All right, so I'm just gonna do a quick test. I'm close. I need to go just a bit larger. Don't go too deep. You'll get into the cords. Just want to make sure I got all the little ribbing down so it's nice and flat. And overall, feels really good. So, next step, I'm going to vacuum it out with this special vacuum. It's a pneumatic vacuum. Technically, any vacuum will do. Get it nice and clean. All right, like that. The next step is, I've actually got to get the, I'm just going to look at that real quick. That looks really good. We need to use our contact cement. That's the sealer. So right here, vulcanizing cement by the book is actually with a brand new brush. And I would recommend that, but it's pretty common to not use a brand new brush. So what I'm going to do is go about the size of the patch, if not maybe slightly more. Then what I need to do is actually, I need to get it down in that hole really good. And I can actually push it through with a little awl and make sure that it's lined really well. Okay, like that. I can even dip this in the can. All right, so that's actually looking pretty good. Our next step would be with this patch plug. You really don't want to have your greasy hands all over this. So we're waiting for the last moment to take this off. And again, with that nice velvety finish and with that vulcanizing rubber cement on there, We're just really waiting for it to be kind of not glossy, but a little bit flat, dull looking, if you will, like kind of matte. And it looks like you're pretty much there. So now we're ready to start this in that hole. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom side of that and pull it through while I kind of guide it here. All right, like that. Okay, I got it pulled through. Now we need to stitch this in. I'm going to start in the middle, roll towards the outside. All right, and we're pushing out the air pockets, and we're getting this really set in nice. I do it from like 12 and 6 and now a 3 and 9, and sometimes we'll even throw another angle in there, just making it custom. And so you can see that thing's sitting really nice. Next step, this actually has plastic protector on it. I'm gonna try to grab it, otherwise I'll use a pick. I need to just grab the plastic, not pull the patch up, which is why I prefer a pick. Just realized I didn't have one right here, so I can do it like this. Come on. All right, this plastic's especially a little stuck. Okay, there you go. Pull this little plastic liner out. Now that rubber cement is vulcanizing, right? So that's becoming one with this rubber right now. But what we're gonna do is give this an inner liner sealer. So remember that silicone we scraped off? This is the new one. It's usually black. This one's clear. I don't know if it's going to dry black. I haven't used this particular product before, but we got it even just a little bit bigger than what we buffed off of there. So we're pretty good there. Only remaining step is going to be cutting the end off. All right, so if I look up here, you can see we got that dangly end right there. And I'll make it real nice and easy. We'll just cut it flush. All right. This is now ready for reinstallation. Just for fun, I'm gonna see. Yeah, I mean, that stuff dried clear, so it's gonna stay clear, but that's all right. Now I just gotta remount the tire, balance it, put air in it. We're good. So we're back over here just doing basic tire work, really. And on the installation, this is especially critical. This tire paste, I'll just get it right up here and just show you we're just lubing the beads. And this is not a real low profile tire, so this one is not gonna be difficult, but this is especially critical on a low profile, like a 30 series or something. You really wanna do this. Now, if you'll recall, I made a little mark. So I'm just gonna find my mark here. And, well, I'll find it when I get on there. This next step, I wanna point out, I believe you can see this TPMS sensor. We need to be really careful about how we reinstall this. So when I go to do this, I'm gonna practice by swinging this duck head up like this, kind of get it on and around. All right, get it down in place here, lock it. I'm gonna practice like I'm putting this tire on. I wanna show you something. Right there would be actually a problem. I'll show you why. That's gonna hit the TPMS sensor. If you look at that, it's not a good spot. Right, so when we go to do this, what I like to do is get the tire where it's almost, you know, you've got it over, you've got it under, and you've pushed it onto where it's about to mount. And I'm just going to spin it a little, and maybe just a little more. All All right, you notice where that valve stem is sitting? It's right where the tire's about to fall on, but not quite on. And if you look, nothing's touching that. That is clean and clear and beautiful, and that's the way we want it. So when I run it like this, when I run the wrong thing with my wrong foot, I'm going slow on purpose. It's just about to fall in. If you look, nothing's ever even touched that sensor. So my lesson to you is, if you don't touch it, you can't break it. All right, so when I go to do it again with that second bead, that would not be a good spot to start. I need to either go around or back it up to right about there. Right, and then I'll do the same thing and get it over this, under that. And I'm going slow. My tire loop's kind of drying up. Remember, right here, it's where it's about to fall on. Now what I'll do to even help myself further is I can swing this over and I can pin this down right here. This will help keep it in the drop section. Now watch this. Make sure I got it under. Again, you know this bead's not hitting that valve stem because it's not even there. If the valve stem was here, this bead would be buried into that valve stem right now, and it'd be, that TPMS sensor would be getting broken. Okay, get this up a little bit. And it's just, nothing's touching it. Now watch where it drops. Maybe just a bit more. Okay, and we're just gonna have it drop right at the TPMS sensor last. Boom, there you go. All right, so now that that's ready, we'll air it up here, which is not exactly rocket science. But when we're done, I'm gonna show you that it's not leaking, and then I'll do a follow-up with this friend of mine to say, hey, I wanna know how many years that patch lasts, because I think it's gonna last the life of the tire, no issue. So when I air this up, I'll just put a little up pressure. You'll see that bead will pop right now. And to be honest, I actually forgot about that little mark, but it's all right. I'm going to balance it anyway. There you go. There you go. All right, so, and I'll overshoot this a bit. It calls for 32. I'll do like 35, and then by the time I get the valve stem core back in, it'll be pretty close. Yeah, so I need a little bit more. This is not really a hard job, but it's a high risk job. There's been quite a few lawsuits related to this due to improper tire patching. I'm actually going to be a good boy, take that out, cap this really nice and tight. I'm the guy that you want to work with, not the jerky dude. All right, this part actually, let me get hands free. Here we go. I'm going to preload this valve core up in the tool, hold it with my finger, pull, push, tighten it up, and then see where we're at. We're right there. So it's done. Hang this up, put the tool away, put the valve stem cap back on, and then I'm just gonna pop this off of here. Come on. All right. Then I need to move your perspective right over to here. All right, so this machine's booting up. Let me get a couple things ready. First thing, they do have a tool to measure the center, but we can just rough it too. Second thing, I need to pop the center cap out. I like to use this plastic tool. It's out, gently-ish. Let's start with this small adapter. That's definitely not even close. Jump up a couple, too big. So it looks like we're going to be right at the middle at a yellow. That's too small. That thing's bottoming out. That's just right. It's sitting right on the taper before it bottoms out. So I'm going to take it just like this, slide it on here. And then because I'm going to keep my back healthy, I'm going to roll it up like this. Use this, run it up. Now we could have a big debate about the wheel weights. All right, technically, it doesn't really matter if you take them off or not. if we go to balance this and I take the weight off, I pull an ounce of weight off and then I balance it and it calls for an ounce of weight where I just scrape the sticky weights off, I'm kind of wasting sticky weights, right? So myself personally, I like to just spin it, see where we're at, and then see if if it's calling for weights opposite of where my weights currently are, then I'm of course going to take them off. I'm not saying put 10 weights on them, but in the rare event that it's calling for where it is, I just don't want to have wasted my time. Make sure this is snug myself. We're going to road force balance this bad boy. I need wheel weights on the outside edge, but on the inside, I need sticky weights. That's just what I see it's got. And it doesn't have a lip for clip-on weights. So here we go. And yes, I did set it. So we're rocking, we're rolling. Right, I'm going to road force balance this and everything. Hook it up really nice. Oh, I need some weight. All right. Ooh, awesome. So this has got excessive road force variation, which is kind of a bummer. But if you look, the prediction is 30 and the current is 30. So unfortunately, there's no improvement for this, which I'm not surprised. These tires don't look that new and this car is kind of beat up. So I got a video on how to road force balance it. That'd be a great idea. But in this case, it's a leave it. Now remember, it's calling for weights, right? So if I look at where it's calling for weights down there, I believe you can see that. You can sort of see it. Let's get it a little bit of a better angle. See that red laser? We're calling for weights here. All right, interesting. Let me spin it 180. Yeah, you know what? Those weights are kind of opposing where it wants the weight. So I'm gonna absolutely scrape those off. So in this case, it probably would have been a little bit more helpful if I were to have scraped the weights first. But once in a while, I scrape the weights off and I put weights where I just took them off, and that makes me look like a real ding-dong. This machine's brand new, so I'm breaking it in. I'll get rid of this trash. Familiar with the machine though, right? And then these weights, I'm gonna do the same thing. They were kind of in the wrong spot too, so we'll start fresh and clean. Respin it, but it should not do the road force because it already measured the road force. I'll clean up my trash here. Minus, I may keep those used ones. All right, it's calling for a single weight solution. We can do that. We won't even have any weights on the outside. We'll just do a 3.5 set of single weights, and I can touch servo and it should move us there. Yeah, that's where we want the weights, right where that laser's at. Let me grab some weights. You know what, just for the heck of it, I'm curious if I got away from sticky weights. 2.5 and 1.5. 1.25. Actually, I may do that simply because I don't have a ton of sticky weights in my hand. Oops. I don't have a ton of sticky weights in my hand, so I may go ahead and do the double. Because for the inside, I can do it on 1 ounce and 1/4. I have that many sticky weights. I just need a 2.5 ounce clip-on weight, like that's what it's calling for. And 2.5 ounces is a fairly large weight. Then I'll get it up to the top by pressing the servo button. This is the spot. Line it up with the laser. Make sure I got the right wheel weight selected. Do the servo. I've been carrying this in my back pocket for just this job. Servo it down. This is 1 1/4, right where that laser dot is. It's not going to stick to dust very well. So I'll get this at least cleaned up enough to take this weight. Now I got these are 4, so I'll give it 4. 4/4 is a 1. 1 more quarter gets us the 1 1/4. Make it look clean. Spin it. And this is not going to fix that excessive road force variation, but it'll be balanced. Alrighty, bingo. Okay, everybody, this is the moment of truth. We've had Aaron here a while. Remember our repair. Let's see how we did. There's our mark still. Just let it sit. And it's dry. It's no bubbles, no nothing. So we're rocking. This one's gonna go on the car, get torqued, and crisis averted. And if this fails, I promise you I'll follow up, but it's not gonna fail.